Welcome, Atsuko. It's amazing to have you here. I've seen your progress firsthand and your dedication, especially how you shared your practice through videos on Instagram. That has been great. Now, let's celebrate your journey today and let's start by learning more about yourself.
Okay. Hi, Vincent. How are you doing? Thank you so much for having me on today. It's my pleasure to be here. Let me introduce myself to the audience. I'm Atsuko from Tokyo, Japan, and I've been playing ukulele ever since 2023. So last month, I celebrated my second year anniversary, and this year is my third year. And then the reason why I took the course is that I always felt like there's a big wall in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
but I had no idea how to break it. And then of course, I wanted to get better in order to take my level to the next. But
Mm-hmm.
without any, constructive feedback, I have no idea what to do. Probably it's gonna sound a little bit weird, but I'd like to get a completely new perspective when it comes to playing ukulele. Because in Japan, as may know this, we have a way bigger ukulele community.
Mm-hmm.
So to be honest, I didn't need to get bothered myself learning how to play ukulele in English at all. But yeah, I'd like to get new perspective. That's why I took the course you organized.
I think, when you mention this fact of having a perspective on a little bit on what you play, I think that's great because at the end of the day, one of the main issues is that sometimes people play, but they don't really understand what they're playing. And so I think the fact that you wanted to go in that direction, worked very well for you. And you mentioned the fact that you were hitting a wall with your progress. So what were you struggling with before you joined the course? Was there anything specific?
Oh, so many things, such as hammer-ons,
Mm.
pull-off, and then the one that you introduced to me, foot bending.
Ah,
That one is completely new, advanced technique. And even just a simple thing, such as keep the tempo.
mm-hmm.
I used to hate following along a metronome, but if you wanna, play anything, any song, any melody or whatsoever, you have to be play in time.
Yeah,
That's very important,
yeah.
right? So I try my best to get along with my metronome. Yes.
And so, how was the relationship between you and the metronome and you and backing tracks?
Yeah.
During the course, did it change?
Yes. Backing tracks and the drum beat that you gave me, that were, for me, really helpful and more practical. And those, yes, yeah, definitely helped me out.
That's good. One of the things that I really enjoyed about you is that you were really active in the Telegram group, and you are really active on Instagram,
Oh my,
sharing your progress with us. And
was
I
that?
think that's great, and because it keeps you accountable. Uh, it's fantastic for motivation. And I wanted to know, how did that help you to stay motivated and improve?
Well, before taking this course, I pretty much every day I woke up slightly earlier and any videos, let's say for example your tutorial videos or maybe some teachers tutorial videos, I watch again and then practice a little bit and then record myself.
Hmm.
That's my morning routine. So, and some of them I posted on my Instagram, but some of them I didn't. So I'd like to keep this morning, routine. So it was not a big deal. So record myself and I send it to you
Hmm.
pretty much every day.
Yes. Oh, but that was great. That was great. It shows the dedication because especially, I would wake up and find your your videos, because obviously you do them when I'm sleeping. And it's
I
just
hope
great,
you.
yeah,
I hope not.
to see that you're taking into account the things that I say. You're working on the exercises that we discussed throughout the lessons. And you can see that slowly the progress is there, and it's basically unstoppable, because every day, with great dedication, you're working on those things, and this is making a difference.
I still remember at the very first time you pointed out I have a bad habit, such as very simple thing, clothing up, you know.
Oh yeah.
I tend to, lift up my index finger, right? I still do, but oh, this is what I'm looking for. The, I would say yes, constructive feedback. Otherwise, I would have kept, practicing like that without noticing,
Yeah.
without knowing, oh, this is that habit. And so in that regards, I really just appreciate it. You pointed out immediately, and then I always keep it in mind. Try not to lift up my index finger or middle finger, even yes, whenever I'm
Yeah.
practicing.
Yeah, I think, like you said, when you have the right technique, things they become easier. And sometimes it only takes like a few adjustments to really, take your technique to the next level. And but as you said, sometimes it's difficult when you're doing everything by yourself. And you're right. Yeah, I remember the first thing. Well, that was one of the first things I said to you. And of course, it does take time to completely get rid of a bad habit. But you're in the process of doing that, and I would say now almost 90% of the time you don't really do that. I think that that situation can happen, that when you're playing something like very difficult, you might
Yep.
go back to the bad habit, but that's because you have a certain stress coming from whatever you're playing, that it's distracting you basically. But that's great. That's great that you made that progress. And so we could say already that is one of the things that has changed from when you
It has
started doing the
changed
course.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay, so what would you say is different in your playing now?
Now I'm like you said, just memorize all the stuff. It's so it's a different than fully understanding what you are doing. There's a completely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So before taking lessons that you organized, I just focus on what I focus on. It was that just I have to memorize all the uh, chords or chord progressions or scales or anything. But just memorizing, no. I I was wondering the other day, did I fully understand what I'm doing?
Yeah, because that's the key.
Yes. So when I got to the point where I realized, oh no, that is not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is fully understanding
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's idea is for me an eye opener.
Yeah. Now that makes a huge difference, because, for example, I don't know, you could memorize the position of the major scale,
Yeah.
or, I don't know, the minor scale, Lydian mode, whatever. But if you don't really understand what you're playing, if you don't know the sound, if you don't know what you can use these scales for, then it's a little bit pointless. And I think you're totally right. To try and understand everything, because it's better to know less but to fully understand it than to know a lot of things but you just know them in a superficial way. And I think that's great. And I think every time I'm teaching, whether it's courses one-to-one, masterclass, I always want people to understand, even if it's just uh, you know the 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 beginning, even if it's just like a little part of the concept. But it's always very important for me that they understand what we are working on, because I don't want people just to copy. It's not about copying
Yeah.
tabs or memorizing scales. It's about playing scales, understanding them, and being able to apply those scales in the right context. So for me, understanding is very, very important, and I'm glad to see that it's the same for you, because yeah, that's really cool. So now, looking a little bit ahead, how do you see yourself using what you learn in this course in your playing moving forward? So how will you reapply the things that you have learned?
Yes. Yeah. I always keep in mind. Oh, okay. Even if even if the song that I play is very simple, straightforward. I try my best to squeeze in what I learned from this course, such as hammer-ons or pull-up combination. To be honest, those kind of combinations might pure able, but otherwise I'm not gonna get improved, right? So I try my best, and then this is the timing. Okay, squeeze in. Okay. So, but looking for much, far ahead.
Yeah.
If I have an opportunity, I'd like to carry on where we left off,
Yeah.
to be honest. And I wanted to dive in more deeper and then more complex music theory so that I can improvise
That's a
my
great goal.
own melody, my melody, my music, in order to express myself
Yeah.
in the way I want.
Super. Yeah, no, I'm sure we will be doing that. And that's a great goal, I have to say.
Yeah.
So today, one thing that you mentioned, quite a lot was rhythm, timing. And so for someone struggling with rhythm, and, perhaps feeling stuck with their progress, what would you say to them?
Well, I, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of learners out there who have no idea where to start or how to fix their problems. So, so getting feedback is very important, and stay consistent is also very important, and I think your course, the course that you organize is the best place to be.
Super, super. I'm glad you think that. And I was really happy to see, the work you did, how you improved. So, yeah, I was really pleased with that. Okay, so Atsuko, I really want to thank you so much, for sharing your experience. I think
My pleasure.
it's been inspiring to see your progress, and I'm sure many others will relate to your journey, because, like you said, there's a lot of learners, people that have been playing for a while that perhaps feel stuck, perhaps they need, with just a few things, to kind of like reach the next level. So, of course, keep enjoying your playing and having fun
Thank
with
you.
it,
I will.
and I will speak with you soon.